In this video, I wanted to talk about how to not let your period affect your fat loss progress. Because I know that fat loss can be a challenge as it is without our period getting involved every single month. We may feel like it's a setback every single month. It may feel like we've messed up or that we've gone backwards from the progress we've actually made so far. And sometimes it can actually ruin our progress because of the hormonal changes that impacts our mood, that impacts our emotions, and then impacts our behaviors. So yeah, I'm just going to talk about certain things that may give you peace of mind every single month for when you actually have your period to get through it all without losing any progress. So yeah, we are battling mentally and emotionally on our time of the month because obviously we see changes in our body that may look like we have completely gone backwards. I remember in my 20s where it used to really bother me seeing such a change when I was doing so well. And then I would literally see my body look so different, and it was really hard for me to actually accept. These days, I can literally look at my body, see the difference, and it just doesn't faze me because I know that it's so temporary. And the funny thing is that I have personally been going through a fat loss phase for the last 6 weeks. And I know that it's true fat loss because this time on my period, I genuinely didn't even look that much different. And yeah, so that was a good thing because usually I can look like I have gained the most amount of water weight possible. If it looked like we were doing really well and then we've gotten to the point where our body's changed, it can just discourage us and then think, what's the point in putting in all of this effort for our bodies to change like this so quickly, and that it can literally just feel like we have to restart again after our period. And then when it comes to, our emotions, of course, that can be really hard if you are someone who struggles with emotional eating, because you genuinely see food as comfort. You know that it's something that potentially will make you feel better. And with a mix of being demotivated and discouraged, then it can literally play even more of a part in maybe being so close to ruining our progress by just eating to make us feel better temporarily, which means that we can give in to, high calorie foods like ice cream, which obviously the chocolate just hits so different, doesn't it? When it's your time of the month, there's nothing hits better than chocolate and just carbs. But yeah, so these days I am very good actually controlling my cravings. I could have a period and not really eat a lot of things, but it never used to be that way. I used to feel such a strong urge to eat certain foods, like a whole tub of ice cream and things like that. But now, if I was going to, I would just change it to a better option. So, instead of like Ben and Jerry's, I would change it to like the Halo ice cream, which is like 300 and something calories. And that won't have as much of a damaging, impact on the calories during the week. And, it won't undo all of the hard work that you've done. So yeah, obviously it's a mixture of actually having cravings for certain foods that are really strong with the mix of emotions that we're going through hormonally. And then let's just talk about if we do give in to our cravings and then eat like a whole bag of chocolate or a whole bar of chocolate or even a whole pizza or just something that's really carb heavy that isn't deemed healthy, then we can also then shame ourselves and feel guilty for giving into these cravings, right? But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really make a difference, because on our period, we actually burn about 200 to 300 more calories. And if you've noticed, if you're like me, that it just seems that you can just eat and eat and eat. And that is because our metabolism is that much faster, because it's got more to do. So it doesn't really make that much of a difference. What I've come to realize is that, yes, if I wanted to be extra disciplined on my period, then I could. If I really wanted to, if I really tried, then I could do it, and then potentially make even better progress after the period has stopped. However, I have just come to use that time mostly to eat anything that I'm feeling like eating. Because at the end of the day, as much as, yes, we shouldn't be maybe eating certain things that may, affect our fat loss progress because they're so high calories, or that even when our body is looking a certain way, and then because we've eaten certain things, then it will look even different. And then we feel even worse about that, because as much as we've got like the period that's making our body look different, then it's the certain type of foods that's making us look different, as in way more carbs or way more sugar or way more salt. Then we can view ourselves and think, oh shit, I have literally just ruined everything. And then what happens is, especially if you're someone who's an emotional eater, you will then want to numb that with more food. And you'll literally find yourself in a cycle, a vicious cycle, every single month, and you just won't get any progress. And don't eat as much as you can just because you're on your period. It's easier said than done when you feel like food does control you. A lot of the time, it's actually better to allow yourself to eat certain foods, because that will reduce your cravings, and then eventually it will make you not want to eat as much, because you've already satisfied either an emotional, craving, and then you won't ruin your progress as much, and then you won't feel as guilty about it. And also another thing that can help you feel better and then not be so controlled with food, exercise. Okay, so exercise will make you feel better. So when you exercise on your period, it actually is a very good pain relief as well. So your bellyache, other symptoms won't be as strong, because you are mentally and emotionally feeling better through exercise. It won't make you want to emotionally eat. The thing that I would suggest that has helped me over the years is that a mindset thing, knowing that the body changes are really temporary, and that it's not me losing progress or me not progressing, because I still will be, and that eating certain foods won't damage all of the progress that I've made. But if you are really concerned about gaining because of food cravings and things like that, then just implement a bit of damage limitation. So whether that is going for a walk, whether that is training like weight session or like exercise, even if it's just light cardio where you're going to be burning some calories, if you do eat certain foods that are high calorie, then you can limit the damage that you could potentially be doing that might ruin your progress. I am purely talking from someone who has experience with emotional eating and really struggling to lose fat. So this may not apply for people who don't struggle to lose fat, who have never had an attachment to food and things like that. I just know how much harder it can be mentally and emotionally on your time of month. So yeah, it can be a challenging time when you are trying to lose fat. So yeah, I hope that, you got something valuable from this video. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And yeah, I will see you in the next video.